Actually, I am kind of speechless parce que bu ma déggee Mariama, I was emotionally,
disoriented.
I really can't understand, to be honest. But notwithstanding, I believe it is a very unfortunate situation. Comme ni ma ko waxee rek, these are the vulnerable people living in this country, and they are Gambians for that matter. These are the people that we should also put our focus on in terms of empowering them and improve their lives, but not to discourage them, especially women. Lu mu fi wax nag dafa métti torop because tey soo ko bàyyee xel with the settings of the country and tey fu mu commencé explanation am why the need to even have an institution called the physical planning in the country. Because tey dooma ne moom acquire na land bi ba commencé construction ba bugga dem lebbu ba léegi ñu ngi laa won ne si loi bi ne sooy construct foog nga am a construction permit. The construction permit boobu da nga ko war a amee physical planning which she has. So why government talk one day rek ñëw rek demolish? And the most unfortunate part also is ne mu ngi leeralal askan bi ne she never received any notification. And that is serious.
Absolutely.
Because su fekkee ne that is the case, anybody from the ministry or from the government that is responsible for the issuing of the notification to come out and one ne key receive them, because you should sign when you receive it.
Very well.
And I know she will not sit on this platform and say things that didn't happen.
Of course.
So then mom mu ngi laaxu ne jotuma notification, jotuma letter. Comme ni ñu koy defee si court system yi yaa ngi am process service.
Exactly.
So amee a process pour serve la. Loolu mooy seen liggéey. Dañoo dem ñu serve la. Right? Dinañ ñëw benn yoon. Dinañ ñëw ñaari yoon. Dinañ ñëw ñetti yoon. Te loolu yëpp dañ ko document. Dañ ko war a document. Then suñ demee dem ba nga xam ne all efforts prove futile. Right? Dañoo dem court bi jox na leen doole pour ñu apply for substituted service. There are means. Boo xam ne waaye yëpp dafa am fuñ ko taaj nga xam ne ëllëg si biir boo ñëwee toog ne jotuma ko dinañ la won ne la ñëw nañ fa benn yoon diw sangam lañ waxal mu ne nekkuloo fa ñëwaat fa ñaari yoon diw sangam lañ waxal mu ne nekkuloo fa soo seede dina am yow su boobaa foofu do nga toog ne fu mu nekk ni de kon li ngeen def am ngeen yoon pour def ko parce que try ngeen seen képpalaali kàttan pour jot ma pour yëgal ma xew-xew bi te jotu leen ma léegi ndax ñoom physical planning the question is ndax jël nañ jéego yooyu noonu because du Mariama rek laa dégg mu wax ne gisuma letter jotuma letter awma notification even though dégg naa physical planning tamit ñu ngi wax ne ok they've announced it made public announcement ndax loolu mooy the route pour make such an announcement to take such an action.
Antine ne balaa honorable teg lettre boobu bi ñu wax ne seen demolition bi ñu def nii dañ joxe ñi nekk foofu kii jotul la waaye am na few people nga xam ne jox nañ le notification on the 25th ne dañ leen joxe a long due dinañ fa ñëw demolition on the 28th gaay dem few days 3 days interval rek gaay dem pom commencé which is very unfortunate.
So the letter
and ñi nga xam ne dañ leen demolish ba pare ñoom am nañ development permit am na ñoo xam ne am nañu even any required documents kër war na am nañ ko in their position.
am na ku liis këram ñu daaneel ko moom tam.
in their position.
Interesting. Honorable ñu delloo la
comme nu ma ko waxee woon rek it is a very unfortunate situation and mu ngi fi wax loo xam ne tamit laf ma yéeme torop in terms of the demolition strategy buñ use that is dañoo daaneel kër bi bàyyi kër bi loolu fan leen ko wéer that is also another concern that should be flagged because these are things yoo xam ne we need to know what really happened. Te wax na fi ne tamit ne they even went round with journalists pour them throughout the vicinity that is the entire area pour wane those as evidences. da kër yooyu tamit bokkut si kër yoo xam ne comme lay nit yi den toogoon seen néegi nañ ko daaneel seen kaw. That also I really want to know waaye da ngaa gis ne comme like wax bi dem na ñëw na yëpp I believe ne lu nekk la fa am procedure te tey sa story is so sad and it's not like I am judging the entire situation based on your story because noo ko waxee ni am na koo xam ne si seen biir mu ngi am lu ko gën a métti than yow
very well
waaye notwithstanding sa bos leen dégga te tamit si sa bos la ñoo mun a wax ba nga xam ne ëllëg sibit yëpp dinañ ko teg si yoon one thing laa bugga isi forward gis nga réew su buggee dem du toroxal jigéen and I want this government to look into this properly jigéen should be the last option especially single moms in this country they are amongst the most vulnerable te tey suñ waxantee dëgg rek she made it very clear su ko neexoon jigéen bu taaru la kenn du ko daaxa dem Sénégambia waaye mu ne déedéet I will choose the right path because maa ngi am njaboot
I can attest to that
maa ngi am njaboot boo xam ne ëllëg sibit they will look upon me as their mom to see to it ne you am a better life and you become better citizens of this country and I will also commend you for that as a single mom te di la ñaanal yàlla jàppale la bu baax si loolu waaye tamit ñëwaat si lu happen to be honest it is a complete dismay because tey ñun luñ war a gis mooy su fekkee ne sa ne dem na fa benn yoon ñaari yoon even ñetti yoon sax that is not even still an excuse because tey moom as far as mun na moo taxaw ne she never received any notification ba pare wone na moom lan la nekk di struggle pour sampa kiram te mu ngi am proper documents te balaa mu loon sampa am na a development permit from physical planning then foog naa ne there is something going on te I believe ne it is important as the apex authority I call it to take immediate action in terms of performing our oversight as parliament especially the local government committee of parliament to take up this initiative and also the I can say the local government committee of parliament to take it up as soon as possible to engage the ministry and know exactly what happened and see the way forward in terms of addressing this issue because what is happening right now one thing I will tell you dëkka soo fa nekkee amuloo fay dëkka that is shelter it is always a problem te ñun tey ñu ñoo lee taxaw parlement ne dëkk bi dafa bari problème because of land tey su fekkee ne man aw ma foo xam ne maa ngi faa fanaan then automatically dama turn up to become a criminal
very well
and ñun tey ñaanuñ yàlla as a country the number of criminals mu yokku we want it to be reduced but how can we do that that is why there is even a land act pour wone ne every Gambian is entitled
very well
to a piece of land in this country.
Absolutely.
And that is clear.
Absolutely.
And that is through land application, through the government, mu allocate la. Then you tegal la sarta yoy def to construct land bi. Why su fekkee ne all these things are not happening. But the other thing has to do with fumay danele moy what is the reason? Because su fekkee ne what is the reason? My degane is a reserve land. Reserve land for who? Is it not for Gambians? It is a reserve land for who? Because Domine, it is a reserve land for foreign investors.
No.
Domine, it is going to be a reserve land for individuals, your hamne. At the end of the day, they have no impact as far as the progress of this country is concerned. These are things that we need to look into. But the issue of reserve lands in this country should be a matter of discussion. Because we cannot claim in reserve lands when we reserve it for foreigners. Foreigners are not reserving lands for Gambians. So why should we reserve lands for foreigners? So this is something, because for me, the belief that I have is as far as it is a reserve land, it should be for Gambians. It should be for Gambians in a sense that that land, for example, let's say my constituency, the Tanbi wetland.
Yeah.
The issue of the ecosystem. It is the breeding space of the city.
Yeah.
It is where the city breeds from. That is a reserve land. But instead, they are even butchering that land. Because we have seen the way it has been bastardized in terms of bringing all sort of developments, which is very unnecessary, and not putting the required structure in terms of mitigating issues that we might face with. And we know what happened in 2022 in Banjul. We suffered a flash flood.
Very well. Absolutely.
So these are things you hamne. At the end of the day, we should put it in place. And as long as we don't prioritize planning in this country, we are not going anywhere. And I once told the president during that flash flood, His Excellency, with due respect, I know it will be very expensive for your government or any other government that is coming, but Banjul needs planning. It needs planning in order to avoid such a situation to reoccur. But I wasn't only telling him about the city of Banjul, but the entire country, especially place yoo xam ne already settlement commencé na di happen. Tey fu mu nekk nii for them within the greater Banjul area, what they will tell you, fii fees na. Who is owing those lands? Even Fonyi fu mu nekk nii fees na, Fonyi. You know, Fonyi fees na. But then fu mu nekk nii, let me decide to go back to my father's village, which is all the way to Sierra North. Even Sierra North, sa de la wane fees na. So these are things yoo xam ne come like we should put in place. Thank God, Tamid, of recent we heard of an announcement from the local government ministry about the issue of the land policy. So which is also very important.
I mean, land policy bi ñu ko dégg depuis cococo. Land commission ñu ko dégg depuis time wo.
Lolo is very true, but the fact of the matter is tamit ñun dañoo war loo xam ne ñu ko dégg wala ñu ko gis tamit, because this was even announced in parliament when the minister came to the parliament to inform the parliament that the land policy has been validated and the process will be starting very soon. While notwithstanding, coming back to what is actually happening right now, is that things should be in place. Things cannot be done just like that. This country is governed by laws. We cannot put the laws and at the same time want to do other things. That cannot happen. And this is exactly what is happening right now, because the fact of the matter is, whatever might happen, as far as the situation is concerned, I believe more consultations should have happened, more dialogue should have been put in place. And I believe also, and I'm urging the government to put that into consideration. Because right now, has situation and orders. How can you sort it out? And you don't want to tell me that you are a government that will say, I don't care. Because I don't expect that government to be in place and run this country. A government who doesn't care about his or her citizens, forget about that government. And if that happens, this is why it will take each and every Gambian to make sure that you do the rightful thing when it comes to electing your leaders in this country.
Very well. Absolutely. Honorable, before you go further, Damala Buga Laite, is that fair? Ñu create fi layout ñu allocate ma ñu dem tuuti ren create fa layout gis ne man dama am borom alal la ma dem foofu ñu allocate ma ñu dem tuuti ren create fa man kenn am 3 or 4. Is that fair?
That is, it's not about unfair. That is illegal.
The
law is very clear. The law is very clear. Only one.
Why bother me Salagi?
The thing is, if you want orders, buy it from your own money, from your own
money.
You understand?
Yeah.
And if that is the case, I will implore the ministry and even parliament to investigate that, because the thing is, it is not correct.
That's it.
It is not correct, and it is not something that we should encourage. And I believe that it is very illegal. Don't even call it as unfair. It is not in line with the laws of the Republic of the Gambia. Each and every person is only entitled to one allocation.
I can tell you that's